As more heroes and villains alike join the ever-growing battle against Cletus Kasady and his mad machinations for New York City, will anything be enough to stop this rampaging threat? Well, let's hop into the pages of Carnage issue number 14, a continuation of the Carnage Reigns event, and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join this book in a nice little bit of characterization, Cletus is talking to himself. He has to talk to himself because he's all alone. He's lost his other who's out in space trying to make himself into a god, and he even lost Kenneth at the end of the last issue. Which is a pretty interesting emotional state to be in when we stop and consider that he's now connected to every mechanical device with a screen in all of New York City. He is everywhere, and yet he still feels nothing. Cletus vows to change that though, saying that all he ever needed was himself, and that the world as he saw it was always a mere reflection of his own inner mind and strife. So all he has to do is use this brand new Iron Man technology he's stolen to make the world a redder place. After all, it's Cletus's world, we're all just dying in it. Now from there we check on in with Miles and the good guys. They were joined in the last tie-in issue by Normie Osborn, the Red Goblin, who they discovered actually has the amazing ability, thanks to Rascal, his own symbiote, to actually siphon away Carnage's corrupting influence from the zombie-like crowd that now wants to tear the good guys apart. The only problem is that you probably shouldn't take up that much Carnage, because it's basically like drinking a little poison over and over again. Also, Miles and the other Cape Killers have no idea that Normie is an absolute literal child, and unfortunately this newfound skill is the only play they have if they want to not only defeat Cletus but also save all of the people who are under his thrall right now. But of course it's not just Miles, Spider-Man, and the rest of the Cape Killers who are actively trying to defeat Cletus right now. There's also Fei Long, the new acting head of Stark Enterprises. Cletus stole from him, and well, he just can't let that stand. Using his big bad science brain, Fei Long has managed to fire together one hell of a virus that he hopes to upload into Cletus's extreme Biot suit, which if his calculations are correct should be enough to free all of the people under his control and save New York City, or maybe possibly kill all of those people. It's hard to tell. I will say though, this is actually a really strong character moment from Agent Gao. She's been a complex character since she was introduced over in the Miles book. She seems to hate Spider-Man and has no problem turning supervillains into her own personal attack dogs, but even she knows Fei Long is out of his goddamn mind and a full-blown human supremacist who sees fighting these alien goo monsters as just an avenue to try out his brand new Iron Man themed Sentinels, which you would know all about if you've been reading the Iron Man book or X-Men. How do these new Sentinels actually fare against the giant kaiju-sized Carnage? Not nearly as well as I'm sure Fei Long would have hoped they would. So what we essentially have here is a two-way race between bad and badder. Miles, Scorpion, and Red Goblin try their hardest to reach higher ground so that Normie can siphon off as much of Carnage's corruption as possible, while Fei Long leads his killer machines on a rampage to try and upload the virus. Here's the surprising thing though, they actually both end up failing in their own way. Poor Normie ends up overtaxing himself and is forced to tap out because again, he is a small child who just learned he has this power and is sacrificing his poor mind, body, and soul every time he uses it. Jeez, and to think in his own series he questioned whether or not he was a hero. That sure feels pretty damn heroic and selfless to me. Fei Long doesn't fare much better. He thinks that he has the upper hand on Carnage, finally getting inside the giant monster suit, only to realize, oh no, Cletus played him and he's actually getting inside Fei Long. Both of these things too happening so close together end up having one hell of an adverse effect too. Carnage ends up becoming, well, more monstrous than he was, which is certainly saying something. Cletus gets himself a monstrous new makeover and Miles and the others are forced to escape, but oh, we're not done here yet. You see, Cletus was actually keeping everyone busy while he worked on his real plan. You probably noticed all throughout this series we've had little form exchange messages between Carnage superfans. Regular everyday people who are hiding their own sick and twisted murderous side. Well, Carnage is actively recruiting them now to carry his message of death and destruction all over the world, and to do so he's even given them brand new Iron Man symbiote hybrid suits. Now if you're like me, you're probably thinking, geez, that is a lot of Iron Man tech being used for evil right now. How does Tony Stark feel about this? Well, as the comic comes to a close, we actually check on in with Tony at his brand new base of operations in New Jersey. Tony asks his AI helper boss to help him fire up a very big stick to whack this problem. And so that was Carnage issue number 14, everybody, and while Carnage Range has been up and down since it began, I gotta say this is definitely an up of an issue. All the different heroes and supporting characters get their own little moment to breathe. There's some fun characterization and banter and guys bouncing off each other who aren't normally in the same room. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised about Fei Long's addition to this story. They're really giving him a great push over in X-Men and Iron Man and now here in this event. In fact, I wasn't expecting Tony to show up, but I was really happy when he did. Carnage's plot might be simple, but I think it actually ties into the bigger theme of the Ram v Carnage series, and that is, hey, Cletus is pretty evil on his own, but what if he actively gave other people the power to become Cletus-level threats in and of themselves? Again, I don't think that plot is reinventing the wheel or anything, and it probably isn't going to knock the socks off any longtime comic fans, but hey, it works for this event in this story, and it helps move things forward and ups the drama quite nicely, if you ask me. The art's also really solid on this one too, which is why I give this one a much-deserved 7 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.